remember, America is a nation full of people afraid to do the right thing. So when you're asking yourself, why is this happening? Well, think about the movie American Pie or fraternities. Think about how street gang members sell drugs to their own people. There's a bunch of people afraid to do the right thing, and there's a bunch of people afraid of pretty much everything and anything. Okay? What I'm going to present in different parts, because of the way that they're interfering with my videos, is the facts. These are facts. This is not conspiracy theory. Again, this is not conspiracy theory. If you want conspiracy theory, go to a different video. My argument is not that these events are staged, but that this event actually happened. And it happened because of the cultural values of this society, the West in general, values that they spread to the world with their political systems, their puppet leaders, their social clubs, their secret societies, their globalist groups like the Round Table Group and the Club of Rome. These are the facts about these groups and how these groups are actually behind these psychological operations, and they have social engineered society for these groups to take place, for these shootings to take place, and it goes far deeper than just guns. Guns themselves are phallic symbols of sexual control. So here we go. Point number one. America has been running psyops on me with 22 witnesses on record, okay, and it became obvious in 2011. I do not own any firearms. I've made several attempts to contact the police, and that also overkill. The police are in on it, law enforcement, okay? So you have the word badge, right? It's a play on words for bad G. G is the Greco-Roman and Mesopotamian earth deity, and in the Bible, Satan is said to be the god of this world. If you think that's a coincidence, you won't when you see how the wordplay comes together. Remember, there's many, many words that are a play on words for things that point directly to what they're doing. Badge is one of them. Police, poll, ICE, immigration, and customs enforcement. Poll, ICE, right? A poll is also a phallic symbol. So badge, bad G, and also gay, G-A can also have this with phonetics applied. Gay, bed. Ironically, it's said to be by occultists a Phoenician Canaanite system as part of their Babylonian system, and the Canaanites were known for homosexuality. Okay, so there's that. All right. I do not own any firearms, and I have no violent criminal history. I have no criminal record, and I'm around 40 years old. Okay, yet they've been running psyops on me since I was a little kid. We'll get into why that is. It has to do with eugenics, social Darwinism. Okay, it has to do with scientific racism and biodemography, biology and demographics. Point number two, I am the son of two doctors, and my father is a polite person. But when he was younger, he was intense, right? It's a big, black, Nigerian guy, okay, with an afro, okay, with a very intense way about him. And this clashes with the spirit, the ethos, the mores, the kind of atmosphere of America, which does not want a big, virtuous, and brave, and righteous black man to raise children who influence the communities and the spirit of the communities. Okay, so every city in America, you can write this down, it's true, has its own kind of, theme, right? You say the rotten apple, right? Sin City, Baltimore, murder more, and they're quite often satanic themes, right? Chicago, Chirac, okay? And so on and so forth. So why is a Sin City allowed in a nation with so many law enforcement agencies, with so much resources, right? They spend trillions of dollars on wars. They have so many resources, and they could always raise taxes slightly and create new law enforcement agencies. So why is it such a criminal society? Because law enforcement is part of the social engineering, right? Law and order, right? Social order, political order, economic order, sexual order, pecking order. Okay? Enforcement, meaning mind, like in mental. All right. My father is not in any social club or secret society that I know of. This is key in why I am targeted and why intelligence is called intelligence agencies, okay, are called that. Intelligence, right? Why? Right? FBI is an anagram for fib, CIA, right? CI Alpha. Who do you believe is Alpha? They want you to believe it's a bunch of geeks. Remember, these guys were wig wearing nerds who came with muskets. You know, craftsmen, where craftsmen and nerds overlap. Okay, and of course, Freemasonry, which have millions of members worldwide, probably about 10 million by now, I don't know. Last I checked, it was 6 million. Okay, is known as the craft. And they collaborate with other esoteric and occult societies to control culture, right? That's why groups are called social clubs and secret societies. They're concerned with social engineering and socializing. And that's why it's also called fraternizing. You see how there could be no other way, and this is not conspiracy theory. This is logic and facts. Okay. It is a long story why all, point number 3, is a long story why all governments are rape by deception cult systems, and why they tease and abuse people who transcend the system, especially if they're romantic. Okay, basically in a nutshell, the word whites is a play on words for wise Set. Set is, whose Greek equivalent is Zeus, okay, and he's the king of the gods in Rome, and Rome kind of took over Europe, okay, and his Mesopotamian equivalent is Baal, who is said to be at odds with God. And they say Satan is the god of this world, in whose Bible? In the Western Bible, and why they were taking over the world. So what is their belief? It is Satanism. They're also called settler, and it's called setting people up, like when police plant evidence, okay? You know, set the stage, okay? So it's pretty straightforward. It's also a play on words. Set spelled backwards is tease. Remember, phonetics apply, T-E-S, tease, okay? So that's why so many Western women dress so, you know, and they're scantily clad with the purpose of sexuality, where in Africa, if women were topless, it was more spirituality. But in America and the West, it is sexuality. And their deity of quote-unquote love is Eros, where we get the word erotic. They have no conception of true and virtuous love derived from justice, okay? They call it true love, but they don't truly understand it because it has to do with the natural order. If you can't, you can't cheat the righteous out of their fair place in society and then get an attractive woman and say, hey, we're in love. Okay, that's illusion, illusion. Ill-gotten gains, mentally ill, right? That's a sickness, not a true love. Okay, you know, just like an adult falls in love with a kid or something, it's not a true love, it's sickness. All right. So it's a long story why all governments are basically rape by deception systems, and why they tease and abuse people who transcend the system, especially if they are romantic. The obelisks they have and other phallic symbols are basically symbols of covert sexual control. Okay, the word occult means hidden, and is an occult cut-up, you know, kind of play on words. They call it cut-ups. For O, symbolizing the reproductive cycle. In Egypt, it used to symbolize the sun disk, right? The sun with an O with wings. Okay, and the word cult. So it's reproductive cycle controlling cult. Secret is an occult cut-up for secrete, right? Secretion, right? Phonetics, secrete, like secretion, and secrete, a place where King Minos was said to be the father of homosexuality. Okay, Zeus, in some mysteries, said to be born on Crete. Okay, so the father of homosexuality is directly connected to Zeus. Okay, and also he has a family member called Pacify, where we get the word pacify, to tame. Okay, and she was a witch. Okay, dealing in poisoning, illusion, psychology, you know, studying human behavior and how to manipulate them as groups, especially sociology, you know. In fact, psychology is from Psyche, who's also a deity who's put in a trance, and psychology comes from a branch of philosophy. Okay, and we go on and on about that and who these people are. All right. So it's a place where King Minos. Okay. Also, a family member of them is Circe, is where we said, you know, where occultists say we get the word church, right? Kirk. It's a play on words for Kirk. Where occultists say we get the word church. Circe, right? A witch. Okay, the daughter of Helios, which is the sun god, and they go to church on Sunday. How many of you think that's a coincidence? All right. And also, they have a sun deity also called Sol, another sun god they had in Rome, and that's where we get the word S-O-U-L, Sol, right, which is connected to the soil, because these people are flesh-based supremacists, and they look at things from a worldly perspective. And Gaia is usually depicted, you know, when I've seen her drawn, as thick, like Zeus is. And that's not a coincidence either. and it has to do with their DNA and what they were trying to make you think was ideal, right? They wanted you to think that shorter guys like Bill Gates, who are nerds, were ideal. That's how Ball's depicted. He's also depicted as a big bull. Okay, they want you to think that these big kind of husky white guys are ideal, and also these tall, like Apollo, tall kind of Ichabod Crane guys. So they had certain conceptions, and when Apollo also has this kind of LGBT bisexual kind of Olympic depiction of an idolized youth. All right. And there was the pederasty, the child molesting, and so on and so forth. All right. So what's important to know is that this is the culture of the West. So when people say, okay, there's a bunch of child molesters in the government, one of the things they rarely bring up is pederasty, which shows a long continuity of child molesting. The churches were basically a front that replaced the pagan temples, and they were there to control people. That's why Rome authorized the churches, to control people, to give Rome a public relations lift, and to confuse you about how evil they were. Because when people figure out that there were orgies and they were sexually abusing kids and having sex with guys, they'd run like hell. So they wanted to confuse them about what's going on so that would go smoothly. And that also included, strangely enough, executing homosexuals. They went the distance to confuse. Use, confuse, and abuse. Confuse. Concrete. Jungle, Crete, remember where King Minos, the father of homosexuality, is from, and so on and so forth. Okay, concrete, okay, secrete, okay, consent, right, confidence, a con man, false sense of confidence, okay. All this is part of the kind of psychological illusion operation that is why these shootings are taking place and why there's so damn many of them. They're overkilling it so they can force you to do things their way. So they can say, no, enough is enough. Now do it this way. I don't care. I don't want to hear this, that, and the other thing. People who think differently, da-da-da-da-da, and we need to control the internet, and da-da-da-da-da. And what's on the internet? Dating sites. Okay, Tinder, OkCupid. Okay, they want to control sexual behavior to the extreme. If you don't know that I'm right, you are a dumbass. If you have any questions, put in the comments. And don't troll and say, oh, I don't know, it doesn't make sense. Da, da, da. That's that rape called nonsense. You know what I'm saying? That's what they say to rape victims too. They say she's not making sense because they know that when you rape and abuse them and treat them with a certain contempt, it's harder for them to articulate themselves. The wise man uses techniques to help understand what's going on. A bunch of rape cult scum say she's not making sense, team up with their secret fraternity and greater network people to bear false witness against the rape victim. That's why prosecutors hesitate to process rape kits and to prosecute rape cases, because between the rape kits and the state of mind of the rapist, because of the psychology the West used and how females are kind of unfocused and kind of wishy-washy anywhere, because that's how the West made them in the bisexual spirit of Psyche. And Eros, right? Eros depicted as a kid, right? It's like rape cult, occult, children of the corn, erotic desire. Okay? If any questions, put in the comments. I shouldn't have made this video this long. It might take me a while to upload it. Thank you. So real briefly, he resembles the Uvalde shooter, David from David and Goliath, and how he's depicted by the Synagogue of Satan in the West. He resembles Eros, Amor, Cupid. Okay? Cupid and stupid, right? And we get the Ship's Manifest, right? He was a fake rapper. He's making fun of, he's mocking African American rappers like Vanilla Ice or something. And Manifest Destiny and the Ship's Manifest, the slave cargo, right? Cargo, raw sea go, okay, are connected, okay. And it's also why these Ebos who were in millions of them came on the transatlantic slave trade, because Kuro Obi means black belt, and Obi is an African word first and foremost, and Obi spelled backwards is Ebo, okay, which is the tribe, and Obi means king, heart, essence, center, core, temple, king of kings, right? Christ, the sky god come down, the Skywalker, the son of God,